Hey y'all, it's me, Wanda D, the motivational queen, your accountability coach, helping you get it done. What is it that you need to get done? I can help you get on the media and make more money. Get that exposure you're looking for. So come see me. Check me out all social media under Wanda D Hollis, yes, my government name. And you can also follow my website at IamEnough365.com. That's me, Wanda D, the motivational queen, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Take time out to focus on you. Don't take on any tasks that don't belong to you. It's a perfect day to make a change. Gotta put the brakes on anything that get in your way. No time to second guess. You gotta put your trust in God and walk by faith. It's time to change your you want and apply. Go far beyond than just try. Goodbye to yesterday. Today is the day to claim your destiny. Just clap your hands if you understand. Just clap your hands if you understand.
Hey, just clap your hands. Come on, y'all out there? Huh? It's me, Wanda D, the motivational queen, your accountability coach, helping you get it done. And you're right here tonight. Monday nights is the Wanda D Hollis Show on DJ Grady Baby Radio. And I am so excited because we're going to be talking about a subject that nobody really wants to talk about. And that is divorce and how it is affecting our children. And of course, we have the family here tonight. Plus, we have a special guest coming in as well. So we're going to chop this up. So before we get started, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to just get out there if you're on your mobile devices and hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, and share this information to all of your social media, all of your networks. Let them know that we're going to be on and engaged in this discussion. And if you should want to ask a question or lend a comment, you know what to do. Put it down in the comment section, or you can call 404-721-1724 if you also have any questions and you're just a little bit, maybe you're shy and you don't want anybody to see you typing. I don't know what the deal is, but let me see who's in the waiting room. What's up, my brother? Knowledge. Is that you?
Yeah.
Are you there?
I couldn't get
You couldn't get what? What's going on?
My screen was locked.
Okay, my brother from another mother. How was your Monday?
Beautiful. Nice Monday.
Nice Monday.
Yes, I love the rain.
I know, right? It was very, I don't know, something serene, peaceful, whatever. Yeah, so that's good. So how's the family? How was your weekend?
Family was good. The weekend was lovely. I cut grass and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who's in the room. Let them know what's going on with you. Okay.
Knowledge Born 7 in the room. How everybody doing out there in radio land? My name stands for wisdom, knowledge, and overstanding. Overstanding. I say overstanding because understand means to stand. I say overstand because understand means to stand under somebody else's law. That's actually a law word. But yeah, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. I am the original dark matter magic. How everybody doing out there?
All right. And now we got nurse. We got Coach. She's a nurse, but she's Coach D. We got Coach D back in the building today. We waiting on Nurse V, but right now we got Coach D back in the building. Coach,
that's my friend.
That's your friend? Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. She's my friend too. So, we're doing some great things right here, right about now.
Excuse my mess in the background. I'm doing Amazon.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to apologize for making money.
Always grinding.
You don't have to apologize for making money. Coach D, we're gonna move out your way and let you tell everybody who you are. Okay, introduce yourself to our family.
All right. I am Demetria Winters, an Army vet. I'm a nurse in women's services for over 20 years, an author, poet, entrepreneur, and more importantly for me and close to my heart, mental health advocate because of my own history of childhood trauma.
Wow. Okay. All right. And that's why she's also joining us in this discussion, because she's going to share with us about how some of her experience has been as well. So, Miss Winters, did you have a good weekend?
I had an amazing weekend. I was a feature model in a little fashion show at my girlfriend's place on Saturday. And I got to do some networking and have some food, fun, and fellowship.
On Sunday.
I Am Enough talk show at Chef's.
And Knowledge, when are you coming out to join us at the Chef spot?
I forgot. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I'm gonna tell you. I need to make a note. Let me make a note right now.
I promise you.
Remind.
You doing this Sunday?
Knowledge. No. No, we're not doing it this Sunday. But you know what? I'm definitely gonna call you.
You know what happened? I had some people come in town.
You did?
Yeah.
I think you told me you was having people in town.
I got some more people coming in town this weekend too.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be Thursday.
Okay.
Just threw me all off.
How long are they gonna be in town for?
It's my mom, so she can. I don't put no time frame.
She gonna stay as long as she need to. As long as she needs to get y'all in shape.
No, I'll get me in shape. I don't play them games like that. I don't play them games.
No. All right.
I am truly the man of my house.
I know that's right.
With honor and respect.
With
my
honor
mama would come to my house and tell me you need to change your cabinets and you just come here to visit, get you some peace and tranquility, and go back to Illinois.
And that's the way she do that, just like that, in that order.
Like that. Yeah.
Well, I heard that. Well, we did have a great time though last night, and those shows always wear me out, and I don't know why I set myself up for a Monday show, but at the time that was divine order, and we have to keep it going, right? Knowledge.
Yeah, I didn't think you were getting on tonight.
You didn't?
No, I had this strong feeling that you were not coming on tonight.
Oh man, yeah, I was definitely coming on tonight, definitely, because this powerhouse that I'm about to bring up here. Now, I met Tara. I don't know how long it's been. Well, we'll figure that out. Probably like a year or two ago, and she's just she fits her name. She is the Bossy Educator, and she's definitely the Bossy Educator. But she's such a beautiful person, just full of what's a good word? Compassion and concern for the community and our children. So she works in the school systems, and she's just a dynamic individual. So family, this is our guest. So let's say guest time. Guest time. Guest time.
Guest time.
Guest time.
How you doing?
What's up? Hey, Knowledge.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you. Hey, Demetrius.
Hey.
What's up, Wanda D?
You got it. The Bossy Educator.
I love you.
Yes. I want you to do me a favor. We're going to step aside and let you introduce yourself to the world, to our family here on the Wanda D Hollis Show on Grady Baby Radio.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Tara Seal. I am known as the Bossy Educator, and I create amazing virtual and live sessions for parenting sessions for adolescents, children of all ages, nonprofit organizations, school districts, state government agencies, you name it. I'm also a special needs certified teacher, and I'm also a self-published author with 9 books just published my latest baby, which is called Divorce, the Unspoken Childhood Trauma. And we're going to get into the pages of this book and have an amazing conversation that we usually do not want to have, that's affecting our Black families and our Black community. Thank you for having me, Wanda. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know, that's what we do. We have to serve each other with the things that we have. So this platform is to serve our community, to serve our people. And we tend to have discussions that a lot of people avoid to have, you know. Knowledge laughing. Yeah. So and we get right down to it. We're very, you know, just say what's on your mind, say what's on your heart. We don't have to make any apologies for who we are. And that's the problem with the world. We've been kind of, you know, the world teaches us to play it small, and we say, no, we're going to play it large because that's what we come here to do. And tonight was, you know, when you and I had met, I found you very attractive because of your personality and because of your message. You know, we were at an event together. I was a host, she was a speaker, and we just like connected, you know. Her energy, she's come on to the I Am Enough talk show, and I forgot what that session was about. Were we talking about black hair or something being accepted?
We were talking about how the Black family needs to come together and basically work through and, you know, create their own situations opposed to looking for other people to create those situations for them.
Right.
Another topic that we don't like to talk about.
Yeah, but those are the only topics we tend to talk about, though. That's right. Knowledge.
Yes.
That's all I'm interested in talking about. Otherwise, what else are we talking about?
Exactly. What are we talking about? So let me just ask you the question of why this book and why now?
Well, why now is I'm going to answer that question first. Is because it took me a period of time to overcome the trauma, number one. And then number two, it took me a period of time to be able to accept the fact that my trauma was my truth. Then I went into another stage of, well, do I really want to share this? Like, you know, I was embarrassed, to be quite frank, about the infidelities that occurred during my parents' divorce that led to outside children and embarrassment to my mom, because I felt like, you know, my mama is the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, is how I look at her, and she never folded. So that's number one. Why now is because at this age, going through all of the different children that I've taught. I mean, I've taught over, I don't know, maybe 2,000 kids at this point. I've touched 3,000 kids at this point in my career. And after 20 years of teaching as an educator, I'm talking about elementary school, middle school, high school, alternative school, 24-hour residential facility, on the collegiate level. Just imagine how many lives and conversations I've had with not only children, but with their parents too. And what I found is the parents are going through traumatic situations that they've never addressed themselves. And so, of course, that carries on to the child. So it's generational trauma that's occurring within a lot of our families. So that is why now. And why this book is because I feel that more people need to talk about this topic and have a conversation about it, simply because why not? Why is it such a secret? Why? I mean, the divorce rate is very high. Children are, involved in the divorces most of the time. They have, if the child is not old enough to pick what side they want to take, they're torn in between. They're not involved in the conversation. So perfect time to talk about it. And I'm ready to talk about it. I'm comfortable with talking about it. I thank God that I've come to that point in my life that I can be honest about what my truth is. And although it does involve other people's story, it is my story to share and tell. So I'm thankful to get to the point of where I am after years of therapy and just getting over the hurt, you know what I mean, behind it all. And some people may say, oh, well, that happened so many years ago. It's still a part of my story, though. It's my story, and I tell it when I want to tell it. So here we are.
Absolutely. Knowledge, I want to ask you a question. How was, are you faced with any type of childhood trauma that you can connect with?
I'm a tough cookie. A lot of trauma that I would have it's probably been suppressed by me recreating myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just tell you this: before I was in the streets, before I left the streets, I started going to a Baptist church. Then I started going to a Christian church, and that's when I had earned the name the Word Man, because every time I come to church, I would have a new scripture that I would memorize. And from church, I learned commerce, and from commerce, I learned comedic science and African spirituality. And in learning African spirituality, I started reading 40 Laws of Power. And reading 40 Laws of Power, I learned to recreate myself. So I have actually recreated myself 3 times. So dealing with trauma is one of the things that you have to deal with, because in the school of thought, as far as fall up under the nation of Islam, the FOI, the fruit of Islam, you're supposed to know thyself, do for self, and teach yourself. So in all of that, I was married, had 2 kids. I was aggressive man, learning to be a humble man, and not just learning to be a humble man, but also learning how to respect my wife, and how to build with my wife and make it a longevity relationship. We married over 20 some, I think 24 years. So, I did deal with the trauma, and in learning yourself, you're going to deal with a lot of trauma, because my dad and mom was never in the house together. My brothers were street people, and I was always like Ice Cube. I always had the Ice Cube look, even in the hood, because I knew as a child, even to this day, when I go to my class reunions, we still see them guys who might be successful. And I'll be like, man, that dude was a punk in school. And that's bad, because that person is dealing with trauma as well. And I learned how to deal with that too. So I guess I have had
Mm-hmm.
my level of trauma. And you get to study in Black history, and you will learn that we all have some form of trauma in dealing in today's life and society. So yes, I will say yes, I
Mm-hmm.
have had trauma, but I found ways to deal with it. And one thing is talking to people. And when I mentor people, young men, I talk to them. And I take the oath as I would never tell what you said. I know some
Right.
things about young men here, in Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Miami, Flint, Michigan, that would I would never say it, because they trust me with their story, and unless they put it out, like she put her story out, that's how anyone else would know, because I wouldn't tell it, and this is horrible. I mean, I'll give you one example. I talked to one young man. This was like 3 years ago. His mom used to put him in the oven. She never cut it on, but this guy's scared of the oven. He had 2 microwaves in his house. That's trauma. We deal with that stuff. It's kind of crazy, but yeah,
Wow. Wow. And you said that your parents, they were married and then they divorced?
they were never.
They
They
were,
were together.
uh-huh.
They
And
never
then they
got married.
separated. Okay.
Yes, and then I look like my dad, so my mom will always say, "Get out my face like your dad." And to this day, I know she still love him, because she speaks so harsh about him. And you know, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
That's like you
So
never get over them when they
yeah, you
still on
never
your
get over
mind.
it.
You got to say something
Yeah,
about them.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my dad's 85, and my mom is 74. She'll be 75 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's like a long battlefield, and I'm caught in the middle, playing the
Right.
fiddle, and it has not healed itself yet. So my
Mm-hmm.
main thing is just like the best time they be around each other is during my birthday. I have a big party back home, and that's the only time they pretty much around each other.
How old were you when they left each other?
Wow, I would say I guess 8, 7,
About
8.
8, 7, 8.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you notice any differences, or do you recall when it happened, like emotionally? How did you feel,
Yeah, I
or
was
did you
scared.
out?
She put Yeah, I was scared. She pulled that gun on him. Yeah.
Mm,
She
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
not that's not fun. I mean, that's not funny at all.
Nah, it
Um,
ain't funny, but I mean, I
no.
understand the severity of it, because he wasn't being true to himself. He was out
Hmm.
there playing. He used to play for a local baseball team, and he also could have played for the St. Louis Cardinals, but he never went moved forward with that. So he was known in the city. Everybody knew him, and
Hmm.
he's a big jazz blues fan. So he will always go to all those type events. So you know, at those particular events and him being on the baseball team, you got groupies, local groupies, and you got people who want to get with him. And his name is Freddie, so everybody would call him, "Oh, that's cool, Fred. That's Fred." You know, so he was, you know, a real jazzy person. You know, to this day, he still fish, bowls, goes on cruises. He's just that type of guy, and he got him in trouble. You know, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I got way more questions for you. But Demetria, Coach D, what are some of the things that happen in your situation? I know yours is a little different, but there's still that trauma or that childhood trauma occurred. And how did you handle it, or when did you start noticing the change in yourself as a young girl?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't notice, and that was the problem for me. The way my family dynamic is with my parents, I'm on the opposite end of the bossy educator. I was a child who was born to an affair. And my mom didn't know at first, but then even when she found out, she was crazy about him. It took for her to leave Florida and move to Ohio to separate herself from him permanently. So, you know, trauma can be manifested in so many ways. And if you look up ACE trauma scores, that is adverse childhood experiences, then you can score yourself and see where you score. Anybody who scores a 4 or higher, that's high level trauma. One of them is neglect or separation from a parent. So anybody who has a parent that leaves their household for whatever reason, around the age of 17 and less, that's a traumatic experience. It was also a traumatic experience for me to be removed, go to Ohio with my mom, and between the ages of 3 to 5, be a molested child. And growing up, watching my mom get beat by my stepfather. So trauma, and some people sometimes when they think of, you know, how you handle trauma or, you know, your actions, they think of things as a conscious action. And a lot of times your traumatic experiences create a subconscious reaction. That's why they use the word triggers. Sometimes you don't know why you get angry about somebody in the way they say certain things or certain actions, and you're being triggered because of something that happened in the past. And some people don't realize that they're doing that.
Absolutely. That's interesting. When did you find out that you had this emotional unstable emotions going on? At what age were you when you figured that out?
45.
Okay.
I was 45 years old and I had suicidal ideation. And when I went into the facility, and I always joke around, say, yeah, I did a bid.
It is. I worked in one. It is.
You know, and so I realized then what I didn't know before. I didn't know why I reacted to some things a certain way. I didn't know why I shut down and I hid myself away in a room. And now they're telling me I have major depression, and they're explaining things like triggers, which, you know, in Black households, especially, people don't talk about stuff like that. And that is traumatic because you don't have the tools. Like, thank goodness with knowledge, he found a way to get tools to overcome those types of feelings, right? But then there are a lot of us that we're not even aware of who we really are and what's going on with us. I actually bring up DMX because he reminds me of my childhood trauma that you fight for your whole life trying to overcome this feeling. And money doesn't take it away.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
None of that. You got to heal. And
Right.
you got to have therapy, counseling, the right support people, the right tools to figure out how to help yourself cope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speaking of tools, Miss Bossy Educator, what are some of the tools that you reached for during your awareness when you became aware?
I became aware that something wasn't right because my parents started to go through their separation between the age of 5 and 6. And so my tool was my granny, which is my mom's mom. And I say all the time, I don't know where I would be if it was not for her being, simply because she was my everything. I mean, I could go to her and just say, I would say, well, Granny, I want to say it, but I don't want to say it the way she said, which it may, include a curse word. She's like, girl, you better learn how to use some cuss words. you need to know how to use some cuss words.
You figured that out.
I did figure that out really well. Okay. And so I was just able to go to her and express, she was my shoulder. She was my ear. When I didn't understand what was going on, she was just like, well, do you want to come here? It was my escape, you know what I mean? Away from what was going on at home. And I'm one of those type of people, I love family. And so I just felt that my family was being dismantled. And so that is the voice that I'm speaking from in my book, is from my 8-year-old self when all of these things started to happen. So my granny was my go-to. I also had a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Forrestine Owens. Shout out to Miss Owens. She's actually still living after I wrote the book and it was going through the editing stages. I actually called her, found her number, old school way, found her number, called her, and she's still living. She's retired now. And I told her that I would be dedicated. She's one of the people that I would be dedicating my book to, because she was also a person. She was my 4th grade teacher. So some days I didn't have the words, but I would just go and lay on her chest and cry for the first 10, 15, 30 minutes, hour of class, because my family as I once knew it was no more. My dad was more so like, okay, I'm gonna come over. Then he would come. I would think the family's about to get back together. Then he back out the door again. Then we give him my mama, give him another chance. He come back. Okay, he finds something wrong, so he can run over there back to the woman, just ignorance, and it's sad that children have to live through foolery like that, but it's what happens. And I think that we would do our children so much of a service if we would be honest about the complexities of relationships.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to ask you, did anybody ever come to you and tell you like what's going on?
Yeah, Mrs. Owens was very honest with me. So was my granny. And I really didn't share it with anybody else. I had a very close friend growing up in elementary school. I never shared it with her. We were in a very tragic fire as children. We were thrown from the 3rd floor window. My mom had to throw us out. And I never told her about that either, because I just felt like she wouldn't understand. But I talked to the adults because I saw my mom talking to adults. So I was like, well, maybe I need to talk to an adult. Maybe I can find, some solutions to this situation or whatever. But children need an outlet the same way adults need outlets.
Absolutely.
And just so happened, fortunately, I was that type of child that I knew that I needed an outlet because obviously I wasn't getting those answers from my mom or my dad.
Absolutely. And I remember, I remember being a kid, and my grandmother would always say that if you can't talk to me, find somebody to talk to, because I live with my grandparents, and they would always say that. And I guess knowing that we do need somebody that we can go to, that we trust,
right.
So how easy or comfortable were you with going to the teacher, being that wasn't the family? That, I mean, I can understand you trusting Granny, but how was it that you were able to trust the teacher?
Well, I was able to trust Miss Owens because her classroom was just inviting. It was non-threatening. She was a teacher that really taught with passion from her heart. You could tell that she enjoyed and loved what she did, and she always went above and beyond. So I was like, I'm with this lady 8 hours a day, in fourth grade. So she was the next adult that I was with most of the day. So fortunately, I selected an adult that did not take my vulnerable situation and change it to a bad situation, because oftentimes that happens too. As an educator, I have held one too many children in my arms that come to school and tell me everything. I mean, Mama got his ribeye on the first level, and I got Lunchables on the second level of the refrigerator. I mean, they're kids, and they pay attention way more than we give them credit for. Trust me, their eyes and ears, they work very well. They may not be an adult, and they're able to just put all of those different components together, but trust and believe they know what's going on. And if any of you have been around children, you have seen that for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's very interesting, because a friend of mine that owns a daycare, she would say this to me. She said, in the setting of the kitchen setting is where she finds out everything that's going on in the household. Everything.
Wow.
She said that the kids she said 2 of her little boys were sitting at the table, and one boy had a piece of paper and he was twisting the paper, and the other kid said, "What you doing?" He's talking about, "Man, I'm," and he said, "This is my beer and this is my cigarette."
Wow.
And I had a hard day today.
They will play it out right at school.
Wow.
Right at school. And then the other, I mean, she told me about so much, so yeah. I said, wow. But and the owner of the school would let all the parents know, if these kids is telling us anything, we will call you and we will call DFACS right away. We're not asking any questions, because that's where the stories came out, right there in them kitchens.
And the teachers are mandated reporters. We can't withhold that information. We have to report it in order for the next level of admin to report it to DFACS or social worker or whomever. So she's absolutely right. And some of the things that they talk about are so far beyond their age. They're being exposed to so much more than we were, because now you have the integration of social media and the iPhone and the Android and, all of those cool tools that they love to use all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I have another question. As far as you being an educator, is that kind of what prompted you to write this book, being that you maybe possibly had time to heal a little bit yourself and gain the courage and the strength, and then too, with you working with children in this capacity all the time? What, that's what I want you to speak to.
Absolutely. That was one of the determining factors. Just seeing it up close and in person, and being that Miss Owens that she was to other children. And they're asking me questions. Well, why did he have to leave? Well, why my mama don't love my daddy no more? Or why my mama, my daddy don't love my mama no more? Or, he has other kids now. He's forgotten about us. He doesn't consider us for our birthday, but then he throws Tay-Tay and them a birthday party. Or children see differences being made. I saw differences being made growing up, and my dad had outside children, and just it happens. No one is going to love you like your mama loved you. So of course they were concerned about their children. They would be nice. Well, she was nice to us. Only to benefit and get what she wanted out the deal, which was him. That's it. After she got him and she got her a baby, it was pretty much a done deal. I can either take you or leave you. So as a bonus mom myself, that's one of the reasons why when I married my husband and we have a bonus son, he's 23 now. I made sure that he always had a room in every home we've ever had, that it was his room. It wasn't the guest room. I was told, oh, well, yeah, they can sleep in the guest room. But her child had his own room. So why did my dad allow that to happen? You know, just things that make you go, And even as a child, I had questions like, what is he thinking about? And people have to understand as well, when you marry someone that has kids, in my opinion, you should be accepting the whole package, not part of the package. But that also comes from the person that's marrying as well. Parents have to advocate for their own children. No one else is going to advocate for your children like you do, like you should, rather.
Absolutely. Let me just say hello to our guests watching tonight. We got Miss Yvette in the building. We have somebody from our DJ Grady Baby Radio family said hello, family. And Deborah Jean Bell is in the building as well. She said loving the show, family. So yes, guys, please keep it coming. And also, if you are watching from YouTube, shout out to YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you can get our notifications when we go live. We're talking tonight with the Bossy Educator on a very touchy topic, which is the divorce, the unspoken childhood trauma. And you know, for myself, I can say that when I went through my divorce, I don't recall really thinking about my kids, not in that aspect, because it was like a lot of back and forth between me and my ex-husband. It was okay, you know, like, you better get your shit together. Like, that was my first thing, you know, like, this, you better get your shit together. Right. And then after I got to the point of being fed up, I was like, you know what, I'm out of here in 21 days. I went to the calendar, circled the date, and said that's when it's coming to an end. And that's when it came to an end. But I did not really think about my children in that sense of let me have this talk with them to let them know what's going on or anything like that. And I didn't realize until I moved to, and then I had my exit strategy was we were getting a divorce and I was moving out of Michigan and I was starting my life all over again in Atlanta. So now in hindsight, I think about how devastating that was for my children.
Absolutely.
Because I ripped them away from everybody. I was very selfish. And that's like that as Tara and I talked, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? I got that wake up call like that. It clicked to me because I was like, no, I'm good. But I didn't realize what I was doing because I was so busy thinking about myself. And I was thinking about the fact that I had to be made whole again. And the way that I felt like I needed to be made whole again was to get the hell up out of Detroit because of that. And then there was some other things going on. But that was one of the main reasons why I said, you know what, I'm going to get my fresh start. And so taking them from everybody, I mean, like from grandparents, Saranara, daddy, Saranara,
everything they're familiar with. Yeah.
You just gonna have to come to us, you know. And it wasn't until fast forward until I had a conversation with my daughter. Then she was in her late teens and she was expressing how she felt, you know, like she felt betrayed, she felt unwanted. It was like a whole lot of stuff that I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you felt like that. Oh, right. But I really was not even asking the question. I was not there. I was not as big of an adult as I should have been. So, and I'm speaking for the people that have had that experience of being in the marriage and with the exit strategy and not really, we're just not strong enough to really think about the children at that time. And I can say that for myself. So
and that's big of you, Wanda, to express that because most people, they're not able to express that, are they, Coach D?
Not at all. And they're basically like, oh, they just gonna have to get over it.
Yep.
it's all right.
I'll be all right.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But it's just a vicious cycle, right?
It
Because, like,
is.
really, Wanda, you were going through some traumatic stuff, and maybe either you had some type of coping skills, not just for yourself, but also to think about, all of you, all aspects of your life, then maybe you would have thought about the children, you
Yeah.
know. But we so busy trying to survive,
There you go.
but we
That's true
don't think
too.
about thriving.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But part
Absolutely.
of our survival is our children surviving as well. You know what I mean? Like we can't
Right.
leave them behind.
Yeah.
My bonus son, he asked questions all the time. When he went off to college, I had to I have raw conversations with him anyway, because we just don't do the hand picking of what we're going to talk to him about and what we don't talk to him about. Even as a little boy, he came into my life. I came into his life at 8 years old. And I told my husband, my then, of course, boyfriend, I told him, I was like, if I want this to be very authentic. I don't want to be pushed on him. I don't want him to be pushed on me. It will be what it will be. And if it can't be what I'm comfortable with, and it can't be something that he's comfortable with, we can't be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just very serious about being around people's kids. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that that's a big deal when someone introduces you to their children. So I took it very seriously. And so now, fast forward, he'll be 24 in September. Recently graduated from college last year. I was there. We still have the raw conversations, and that transition from graduation from high school to college was a conversation. And it was a real conversation. Go out there, have your fun, do your thing, but understand that you may get up with something that you didn't lay down with.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That could be anything, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was just very honest with him about what it was, and I didn't say don't go out there and have sex, because I know that that's not going to be the case. I was in college once too. I know how it goes down. So just very honest with him about what to expect, and what to just why lie, because the world is not going to lie to him. It's not going to be nice to him either.
Nope.
So why not tell our kids, at home, what's up, opposed to them getting the information in the street? It's way more love at home, or hopefully, or it should be.
yeah. Right.
In the
Absolutely.
streets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Knowledge, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, just dealing with young men and mentoring. Like she said, she gave him the truth. Even like dealing with my kids, I let them speak freely, not to the point of disrespect, but to the point
Right.
of getting things off of their chest.
Mm.
I learned that reading a book, dealing with the mind, and I kind of use certain methods that I read from different books. One book I read, it talked about your foundation being your orientation, and I still use that to this day. I learned that from a pastor. And talking is the key, because a lot of people, black families, we don't have no one to talk to. And
Mhm.
it's kind of hard for black men to talk, because we always got this demeanor, like we got to keep this certain composure, especially when you're in the hood. I'm not no punk, don't mess with me. So it's kind of hard to let your guard down and really let things out. And by me being the person I am and being aggressive in nature, I had to find different ways to speak to them to get through those particular doors, so they can open up and let things out where they can talk. And I just give them the truth, because if you don't give them the truth, like she said, the streets gonna teach you. And
Oh
some
yeah.
and some people deem the streets to be better to them, because the streets give them the truth. The streets give them the truth, and you go talk to your uncle, your auntie, and they don't give you the truth. Or I had a couple of instances where the young men went to talk to their aunties and uncles, and the aunties and uncle went to talk to the parents. The confidentiality thing is very, it should be very, very authentic. It should
Yes.
be real, unless it's someone in some form of trouble and
Oh,
stuff like that.
right.
I'm not no doctor or anything like that. This is just me
Mm-hmm.
growing up in the hood, and then talking to young men who also growing up in the hood. And some of the men more than likely are trying to find a way out.
Mhm.
And like you say, dealing with families that are divorced or divorcing. one girl acted out because it's a mentor group, so you got the men and the women, but sometimes we all come together for a second. They try to keep it separate, but some of the one girl, she just acted out. She was just like, my dad don't love me. Then another young lady was, her family was going through a divorce. Then she told her mama her daddy touched her, and that all that stuff stems from trauma, from what's going on, the parents ignoring the child and not taking into consideration what they're going through. Because in life, when you grow up, there's a pattern. So that child has a pattern of seeing these two individuals together that they, learning from. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that and I like the work that you do with with mainly the young men. How do they come to you, knowledge? How do they
Well,
normally approach you?
since I done built my name up, so everybody call me Knowledge, and a lot of people love the intro that I give, but that intro came from years. I didn't have no intro for many years, and that intro come to me. Even Wanda, when you came to the pop up shop, the DJ was like, "Man, that was inspiring." You gonna have me reading books tonight. For that's kind of like my icebreaker, and then my icebreaker is telling them like, you can recreate yourself, and a lot of young men are interested in that. I said, you can recreate yourself. I have passed out 40 Laws of Power so many times. It's like
That's a good
unbelievable. I
book.
passed it out so much. Dropbox told me I can't link nobody else to it. But I tell them this: you can recreate yourself. You can form your own reality, but make sure it's a reality. One, full of morals. Two, you have a strong code of ethics, and you can start off with one code, two code. Your one code could be protect your mama. Your one code could be love your sister more. And you can just build from there. And I'm versed in 4 different Bibles, so I give them different scriptures because you're going to talk to different people from different areas. So you're going to have some Christians or some people from the Moore Science Temple, and I speak with them on that level. And I let them know iron sharpen iron, so does men sharpen men. And I tell them, like it's gonna be okay. You got your life ahead of you. What you think is bad, it's just good. I say this is another tool that you can put in your toolbox, and one day you're gonna pull it out and use it. You have to give them all type of ways, and you have to be very, very creative because they are fast thinkers. When they
Oh
think
yeah.
you're trying to smooth them over, they'll back up. You know what I'm saying? They feel like you trying to. I don't know. I can't think of the word. When you're trying to like when you're telling them something, and they feel like you're talking to them too fast or something like that or
Being
whatever.
slick.
Yeah, they'll back up. So
Or what
I
they like to say, doing too much.
yeah, you're doing too
Right,
much.
right.
Yeah, I had a young lady tell me that we was out at man, what is that place called? What's the GWCC?
The
Oh yeah, the
Georgia
Georgia
World
World
Crime
Congress Center.
Yeah,
Center.
Uh-huh.
off Camp Creek. It's out Camp Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we was out there one day, and
Oh, that's the Georgia International. Yeah.
yeah, Georgia
Mm-hmm.
International. Yeah, we was out there
Mm-hmm.
one day, and
GICC. Mm-hmm.
the young lady was like, "Why they call you Knowledge?" Some of some yo call, but I knew the young girl liked me or whatever. So, I'm coming from a father perspective, a very older brother perspective. That's not my thing. I grew up around pimps and hustlers. Where they ain't play that young girl thing, and she's like, "You just doing too much." Because I just tell her, "Go talk to your mentor, and he gonna talk to me." But I knew that she liked the other young man that was talking to me too as well. And yeah, they do be saying that like, "You just be doing too much,"
Mm-hmm.
But in doing too much, I always have someone typically come back and recap something that I said and be like, "Oh yeah, you said that the other day," So
Because they're paying attention.
Right.
yeah, they
And
paying
I always
attention.
tell them, oh, when I was doing too much. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That's what
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
saying.
they do be paying attention. They true, and they pay attention to everything you say. They
Yes,
watch everything you
yes.
do.
Mm-hmm.
They watch it. I've said something to someone. They didn't see me in a conscious community in the West End. They're like, "You fake." Like what? You don't even know what you done. I'm like, what? You tripping? But they pay attention to everything, and it's just dealing with the youth is amazing because you really get to see what be going down.
Oh
You
yeah.
really get to see. You get the street gossip, you get the hood gossip, you get the house gossip, you get all the
Everything.
you get yeah all the sauce. So but it is good though because a lot of people I didn't have nobody to talk to. My brothers was in the streets. Uh, I didn't have nobody to talk to. I just started read. I just picked up the books and started read and went and bought me a dictionary and I think that was my outlet. Other than that, I think for sure I know for sure. I don't think I know for sure I'll probably be either dead or in jail. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
And that's you definitely have a success story knowledge, and I know you would never say that, but I'm here to tell you do, because you beat the statistics, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you beat the statistics, and the fact that you have something to offer our community is great, and it's constant, and you are consistent. So I just want to thank you for that. I
I
thank you all the
appreciate it.
time, but I really thank you for that, because in our community we don't talk about the things that we need to talk about, but yet it seems as though we're always looking for something to change, and we can't bring about that change if we don't address these issues. So being that divorce, with as far as it pertains to children, it sparks so much, it sets the tone for how they become adults. And if they
Mhm.
don't get around people like yourself, or Coach D, or the Bossy Educator, then so many fall between the cracks.
Yeah.
So that's why we're having this conversation today. And viewers, thank you for tuning in today. You are watching the Wanda D Hollis Show on DJ Grady Baby Radio, and Grady Taylor is in the building. So can we give it up for the birthday boy?
It's
Hey,
his
Whoop,
birthday.
whoop. Happy
Yes,
birthday.
happy birthday,
yes,
King.
yes, it is. Happy birthday to the birthday boy. So we're coming to a point that we know that there's a problem, and we have to fix it. We have to make the attempt to fix it. So Demetria, I know you do a lot of work, your both of your organizations, especially Aim High Solutions. Tell us what you have going on with Aim High Solutions and how y'all are helping bridge that gap.
Well, Aim High Solutions is working with different people in the community, um, nurses, educators. We're collaborating on a lot of different things. Will actually have a summer camp, a 6-day summer camp for youth, and we will, we'll work on not just working for a job, but becoming an entrepreneur and
Mm,
helping them understand they can be more than what they think they can. And we do work in a holistic manner, because every piece of you matters. All the dimensions of wellness. See, we focus on one thing, unfortunately, sometimes, and that's part of our problem. Or like everyone said before, we don't talk to the children, we don't show them how to succeed, and we expect them to just figure it out, but we tell them to stay out of grown folks conversation.
But grown folk conversations and grown folk business is affecting the children.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I mean, it is, and then if they just happen to walk past and hear you have a conversation, then you should have enough sense to know you might want to do some explanation on their level. Even if you don't
Absolutely.
want to, sometimes you gotta give them rock. You gotta. It depends, but you have to pay attention to different aspects of the children. We also have a fashion show coming up, and
okay.
we the people that we have is Juneteenth, the real Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
Real one.
Um, so we want to make sure that we support our communities, leaders in fashion and that sort of thing, And that's another piece of showing the kids entrepreneurship that's going on within the community, connecting them. And, I must admit, my daughter, Rachel Grace Simone, she's the mastermind, who's another educator.
Whoop, whoop, educators in the house.
And yeah, she's connected the dots. She's honest with her kids. She does it. She lets them know what the school system really is. Like it can help you or it can hurt you depending on look, which way do you want to go? Do you want to learn how to be the best you?
Mm-hmm.
So we do that.
When is the summer camp? What date is the summer camp? Do you have that yet? Not yet.
She does have it, but
Okay.
like I said, that's the mastermind.
Well, you'll give it to us.
I just follow. I follow
bring
her
it to us.
when she gives it to me again. I know she's gonna be like, "You should know this." Then
Yeah.
I'll go back and put it in the link.
Absolutely do that. I like this comment that Nana, shout out to Nana. Thank you so much for your comment. He said the sense of urgency needs to be slapped on. And I totally agree. We have to realize, and I sit here trying to figure things out every day. Every day we try to figure things out, and we try to figure out what will work for the healing of our community, because it's hard to move forward when we don't heal, when we don't figure out how to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Would y'all agree or disagree?
I agree.
Oh,
I agree. We're in an age of information and social media. It's kind of really hard to isolate it, because when there was no social media, you can kind of like isolate someone and to really kind of like, because they have a wall built up, and you not really tear the wall down, but just get them to you have to get them to let their own wall down. It's kind of hard to do. It's then so much go on in the media and everything is broadcasted. It's kind of like like she mentioned the camps. Those have been the best thing, because they feel like in a camp or a work session, they can kind of like, I guess, get a little free. It's like a vacation, especially if you guys like go somewhere or something like that. They actually be looking forward to that. But one thing I am going to do next year, because I don't think they do anything else this year. I'm going to request that they at least, if we do camps, they put their phones down or cut them off or something.
Right.
Yeah. But it's hard to do, and so in the age of social media right now, it is.
Yeah, it is, and we have to figure out how to make it work. How to utilize it the best way. But I think having some restrictions is always good.
Yeah.
I know we used to have like this no cell phones at the dinner table, rule, certain things like that. So you can get, and this is just for people watching and listening. We're talking about divorce, unspoken childhood trauma. And one thing that I know that I can share now that I didn't know then is that to be honest with your kids, but then have that time of communicating like all the time. So then you'll flow into conversations. It's not like, oh, like you call up somebody and you say, well, I got something to talk about. Like, it's like not like that, because we're always talking. So I would just recommend that you start talking more. One thing that COVID-19 season did for everybody is it made them stay home. Now I know some people was in good situations at home and some were in not so good situations at home.
Right.
But it did allow you to, if you were in a good situation, to get to know your children more, to to talk to them more, to talk to them in a way that maybe you can be honest with some things, for some reasons of saying, hey, I want our family to be healed, So what do you think, Bossy Educator?
Definitely. I think the healing needs to take place, but before the healing can take place, the acceptance of what happened in order to remove the piece has to be understood first. And oftentimes it's just so hard for not even, I mean, it really doesn't matter your age of the level of acceptance. I know some people that are almost 70 years old and they just can't accept their shit. This is the bottom line. And they can point out everybody else's shit on knowledge. I can point out yours. I can point out one of the, that's how some people are. They can point out everybody, what's wrong with everybody else but them. And then you ask them, well, it seems as if you can only point out other people's shit. Do you have any shit? And some people will tell you, no, I don't. Ain't nothing wrong with me. And see, that's the problem.
That's
because you know what?
Yeah.
We should always be evolving. So you always have some shit that you're trying to get rid of and grow and do better and just make better choices and have good intentions behind your decisions.
And I guess it's just in that whole self-awareness, maturing, growing up. And we constantly grow up. We don't get to be grown, because like you say, you're constantly evolving. So in terms of your book, let people know where to get your book and what to expect when they read the book.
Absolutely. So this is the book, The Divorce, The Unspoken Childhood Trauma. That's the back. And you can order the book at thebossyeducator.com. You can go into the tab books and it will be there. Also, what you will get out of the book is a raw story that is my truth. It's 56 pages. I'm not going to waste your time or mine. I'm just not the type of person to write 200-page books. This is not my thing because, as Wanda D has already said, I'm pretty straightforward and to the point, no beating around the bush. So I'm just going to give it to you. It's a very informative book. It breaks down. I have one chapter. It's called "What is Child Support?" Because that's something that I had to hear as a child. I pay child support. It's like, okay, so you think we just gonna be over here and you over there and you don't have any commitments, accountability, or anything? And I just think that that's a conversation that adults should have with children. Now, you can't tell me that you're about to leave and dismantle my family, but you can talk to me about child support. Come on, so it talks, I'm speaking from my 8-year-old self. And you will, when you close the book, you will leave it with knowledge that you have probably never received. No one has been honest with you about it. Even for people that have not experienced this. This is for people that have no children. You're thinking about getting married. It's something that you want to consider with having children. This book is for any adult in any stage of their life. You need to pick up the book because it's giving you information not only about divorce, the childhood trauma, but what that entails. What does that look like? You may be a person that has actually created childhood trauma for your children and you don't even know it. Exactly. Or your family member may have created a childhood trauma situation and no one knows anything about it. So the book is amazing. I'm not saying that just because I wrote it, but I wouldn't put out bullshit. That's just not who I am. I'm going to put out information that my community can use. And I'm seeing that these are the stats. We have it is what it is. These are the stats. 80% of our households are led by single Black women. That's a fucking problem.
It is.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's
so that means that if you line 10 Black men up, and if you are a woman that wants to be married and have a child and it be successful, it's only 2 out of that 10 that could give you that
what you want.
End desire that you have. Only 2 out of that 10. That's not good. That's not good. So what can we do before we even get to having babies? Read the book. What can we do once we get kids and now we're in a situation and we're considering dismantling our household? Get the book. What can we do when we're in a situation and we are needing to dismantle the household? Because some households need to be dismantled. Can we all agree on that?
Wow.
Get the book because the information is there. And I always say this, whenever I want to hide something from us, I put it in the book. because that's the best way to hide it from us, by putting it in a book. But you know what? This is not to be hidden from us. That's why I'm talking about it. This is a subject that we don't like to talk about. Take, about, I would say, probably 2 hours of your time. You don't even have to read. You can read it all in one setting, which some people have. And the reviews have been out of this world phenomenal. One guy was like, "You triggered everything in me." But when I finished reading the book, I had a whole different appreciation and perspective on your situation, because he came from a 2-parent household, but was married to a woman that came from a divorced family.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are out here in the dating world, when I was out there in the dating world, I asked those questions because I had been affected by my parents' divorce. So I wanted to know, are your parents still married? Are they divorced? They separated? Were they ever married? Because that may also be a commitment situation that you may have because you have trauma. The same way I had trauma. My first relationship with a man was my father. That's what it is for little girls. The first relationship for a boy is with his mom. That's what it is for little boys. So if they don't see a good figure there that shows them how that looks, thank God for my grandpa, he was able to do that. But my dad was not able to do that successfully. Now, did he do everything wrong? No. But did he do everything right? Absolutely not. So those are the things that we have to have. We have to have those courageous conversations about our families in order to change, in order to heal, in order to get to the next level, and not constantly, put this bag on our children's back. Then they walk with the bag. Then they have children. Now they children walking with the bag. Now they children walking with the bag. I mean, damn, when are we going to do what we need to do as leaders in the community and just say, y'all, enough is enough. We need more of our Black families together. We need more of our Black fathers present. We need more of our Black mothers not stressed the hell out, yanking kids. I heard of a situation in my hometown where the lady just got to stabbing her kids this past weekend, stressed out. But then we try to figure out, why is it good to have a positive and healthy co-parenting relationship? Because in my opinion, if I had a child by a woman, I won't want that child stressed out around my child. I mean, the mother stressed out around my child. You don't want the father stressed out. Women around their children.
Yeah.
None of us are perfect, but I do think that we can definitely handle it a little bit better and be honest in our relationships and the complexities of them. And boo, if you just want to go over there and get it in and go home, that's fine. You don't have to have a baby for him. And men, you don't have to lay down and plant a seed every time you lay down either. So let's just use our head up here instead of our heads down there. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Touche. I was feeling all of that because you said a lot, and it's so important, especially going into this new era that we're in. Knowledge talked about it, like the technology and stuff like that. We're getting further away from our people, and so if we don't, the leaders in the community, if we don't step up, talk about it, keep having these discussions, have these discussions in your own family. I mean, if I could reflect back in my life, 20 years ago, then everybody can reflect back in their life and say, listen, what could I have done differently? Where do I need to maybe mend some fences at? Have some discussions, ask some questions, and especially with our men get like constantly thrown under the bus, and we just and it's repetitive and systematically they're under attack. And if we don't know that we have to come together to bring the family together, then we're really in trouble.
Absolutely. And we're nothing without our family. That's our foundation. Knowledge, you said something earlier. Foundation, what did you say?
Your foundation is your orientation.
That's the truth. Your foundation is your orientation, baby. I mean, it don't get no more clearer than that, as my granny used to say. That's your foundation. So that's all you know. Then what are you taking out into the world?
Absolutely.
It's tough. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's tough. Not the kids. Sometimes, I only did it a year ago. I only did a half day year because I'm not gonna lie to you. I got tired of hearing the stories. I mean, and some instances, the fathers do be around. They be strong men like me, and they just be like, forget it, And I had one young man, I was mentoring him, and he asked me, he said, man, I got put out of school. Can you put me back in school? I said, man, I'm supposed to do that. I said, I'm gonna help you get back in school. So his dad found out I helped him get back in school. His daddy pulled up on me like, man, you don't help him. He got to be a man. I say, man, this dude is in school, man. He needs you to be his dad. And it, then his brother pulled up, and these some big dudes, man. He said, what you think you is? I'm like, brother, listen, man, it's, it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. It's great. Me and the young guy, we friends on Instagram. He hit me up sometimes, me how I'm doing and stuff. I asked him how he doing. He messaged me, but yeah, his dad is a trip. I don't know,
yeah, some of these parents need to really get over themselves. It's kind of like, I'm the parent, so this is what it is, and you can't say nothing else, and I run you and I own you forever. It's like, no, because how I parented my bonus son at 8 is not how I parented him at 16. It's definitely not how I parent him at 23. There are stages of parenting. And I don't know if somebody needs to go on YouTube and, type in how to parent or whatever, but it's just certain ways I'm not going to communicate with him, and he's paying his own rent, his own car note, his own insurance. That's a grown man. So I can't go to him and just be like, oh, and I don't agree with what you did and this, that. Who cares? The best thing a child, in my opinion, can give their parent is to go out here into this world and live their life and do their thing. They're not bothering them. They're not calling, Mom, I need $20 here. They didn't put me out my house and my stuff outside, and my car done got booted, and he got told, the repo man got. The best gift that he has given us is to be out here in this world, living his life, making his mistakes as he make them and learning from them. We guide him, but we're not making decisions for him. We can't. And we respect his decisions because he's a grown man. So I just think that that's an issue too. We don't know how to communicate with our parents, with our children. So therefore, what we get in return is not what we expect. But you can't go with fire and think you're not supposed to get fire back.
Well, both of you, with what both of you just said, it just popped in my mind. To tell you the truth, I feel like we're treating parents treat children as if they on a plantation, and they're cracking the whip and making them do this, that, and the other, like they slaves on a plantation. Like you own them. Just because you're a parent, that does not mean you own them. You're supposed to guide them in a positive manner to be the best person, the best them they can be. And you can't keep comparing them to others. And you can't keep cracking the whip like they a slave. Just do as I say.
And not as I do.
There's some slave.
That's right.
That's some
He's telling the truth. Because the guy now, he told me his dad got him working. I think this last year in school, his dad got him working, and he has to pay 2 bills. He got him working in some little pizza spot. He has to pay 2. He has to have 2 bills paid.
Now, I'm going to give you my opinion on that. You don't
think anything's wrong with that?
I don't think nothing wrong with that. I think the approach, because it's breaking the young man down. You know what I'm saying? The approach. I that's what I think. I'm not educated in that area. I'm just a guy that read a lot of books, and I know where I come from. The approach is raggedy. I'm just being for real.
That's the truth.
The approach is just dead raggedy, and got him and his uncles. I guess his father and the 2 brothers down here, and they showing him the wrong stuff. And this is a very smart young man. This could be one of our leaders in the community, but he having a rough time.
It's like a dictatorship with some parents, like this is what you're going to do or whatever. And I just think that just like with my students in school, I give them choice boards when it comes to different assignments. And guess what? They're usually harder on themselves than I'll ever be. I'm like, but like you said, being receptive to the information that they're receiving from you. First, you can't go to them as if you know everything. That's my number one thing. If I made a mistake, I have students that say, "Oh, Miss Seals, you made a mistake on the board." I sure did, baby. Thank you for pointing it out to me. Where some people, I'm the teacher. You don't tell me I made. It's a mistake. You are human. I tell my students all the time, I'm not a robot. So if you see a mistake that I made, let me know. And Mrs. Seals will gladly make the correction. I appreciate you for being attentive. See how I switched that around? You being attentive, and being engaged in the lesson and told me where I made a mistake. I appreciate you, baby. Don't go get some out the bucket over there. You know what I mean? But and so therefore that's part of them opening up and being honest with me, because now they know that we can have an honest relationship. But kids don't share things with you, adults don't share things with you when you can't present yourself as non-perfect. You are non-perfect. Perfection does not exist.
Absolutely.
Even as a teacher, I make mistakes. I'll put the wrong verb or the tense or whatever. You know, it happens. But it's just funny how we can correct children, but children are not supposed to correct us.
Yeah. And so, viewers, tuner inners, we want to thank y'all for joining us tonight. This has been a hot topic, and you can see that we're not done with it. This is definitely something that we just kind of like scratch the surface of this entire topic. But I just want to stress, pay attention to what's going on in your household. Our conversations that we have every Monday is so we can start thinking and taking action, not just listening. We're not here to entertain you. Someone else will do that for you. We're here to help us get our stuff together.
Facts.
You know, and that's all we're here for. And we can only do that by becoming more aware of where we are in our situation, in our current situation. So I just want to encourage everybody to look at where you are in your current situation, especially as it pertains to children, trauma, healing, being truthful, being more aware of where you need to go, what you want to accomplish. And nobody wants to really have a broken family. Nobody does. Nobody ever signed up for that. But then sometimes we find ourselves in a space that we're saying, well, how the hell did we get here? Well, it's mainly because we weren't paying attention, because we had so much stuff to do. So we're encouraging everybody. I want to really strongly encourage everybody to reach out to any of the family that's here tonight. You know, whether it's Coach D, the Bossy Educator, Knowledge, we're all here to help each other. Keep coming back, joining us every Monday night, because this is definitely where it goes down with some raw conversations. And I just want to thank our special guest. Can we give it up for our special guest? Special guest,
Right.
the Bossy Educator. And Bossy
I like
Educator,
that. The Bossy
you
Educator.
can come back anytime you want to. Please, you
Thank
guys
you.
go and get her book. You can go to her website, thebossyeducator.com, pick up the book, and also find out what else she has going on, because she does workshops. She works with children. She's works with parents. She's also available for speaking. She's a very colorful speaker.
A lot of colors.
You like that? You like that, Bossy Educator? So Knowledge, give us your last words for tonight.
Be watchful, as I always say, out here in this world, this society. But I am gonna say this straight up. For I am challenging other Black men to step up and do something real. You know, when you see a situation, do not overlook it. And when someone try to come talk to you, don't brush them off like they been a punk, a snitch, none of that stuff. That stuff we gotta get rid of that stuff, because it's ripping our communities apart. A young man come to you, he want to talk to you, have an ear to hear and a heart to listen. That's all I want to say.
Touche. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that Knowledge. Coach D, you want to give us your last words?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I wanted to say, actually, and you know, some people know this saying, from a rap song. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Go ahead and make sure you stay accountable to your own progression. You got to, because how are you going to thrive? How are you going to learn and live and get what you really want out of life if you stewing in all the hurt and the pain without addressing it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. So, one last time, Bossy Educator, let them know how to get in touch with you, how to reach you, and also if you have any, anything that's coming up real soon here, throw that on out there too for the people.
Absolutely. So you can reach me at thebossyeducator.com. I'm also on Instagram at thebossyeducator. And my newest book, Divorce, the Unspoken Childhood Trauma, you can visit thebossyeducator.com to grab a copy. I also just published my first children's coloring book. It's called We Do It All. It's an occupation learning coloring book, teaching our children how and what these different occupations are talking about, because we do it all. So I feature us in the coloring book, obviously, all of our beautiful features. And I'm talking from about a cosmetologist, about a baker, about a real estate developer, those type of occupations that when I ask my students, what do you want to be when you grow up? They rarely say. So maybe they rarely say them because we have not put these occupations in front of them. So check me out at thebossyeducator.com if you also need any sessions, either live or virtual, regarding parenting. I also work with nonprofit organizations, school districts, state level agencies, you name it. Thank you again, Wanda D, for having me. This has been amazing, honey. I've had a great time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Guys, that has been our show tonight. I just want to thank everybody again for taking the time out to join us tonight, because I understand the value of your time. You could be anywhere. You could have chose to do anything on a Monday night at 9:00, but you chose to be here. I thank each of you for that have shared it, for your comments, for your participation. And I thank you so much for just allowing us to try to be as impactful as we can for you tonight. So that's our time. Lastly, I want you to remember that we have an event coming up. It's for authors. If you are an author and you want more exposure, come be a part of our book fair that we have going on at the I Am Enough book fair, I Am Enough Talks Show book fair. And it's from June the 7th through the 13th, June the 7th through the 13th. And it's a $27 investment to lock in your spot. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. We have authors of all genres, whether you are a nonfiction or fictional author, you'll be a children's author, you can be an inspirational author, a Christian author. It does not matter. There is space for you on our platform. I want to help you get maximum exposure to tell people why you wrote your book, because your book is your legacy, and I want to help you do that. So I just want to say good night to you all, and I'll see you soon. Remember, tomorrow starts our day back at the Wake Up Winning for Entrepreneur group, and I'll see you at 6:00 in the morning. So I got to get my rest. I love you. Peace, love, and light, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Bye for now.
Take time out to focus on you. Don't take on any tasks that don't belong to you. It's a perfect day to make a change. Gotta put the brakes on anything that get in your way. No time to second guess. You gotta put your trust in God and walk by faith. It's time to change your you want and apply. Go far beyond than just understand.